Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Ranto, Ranto and the lovable losers. Ranto and the lovable losers. Ranto.
Was it just me, or was he painfully late and glitchy? It might have been just me.
It worked for me. It's fun when it works.
Painfully late and glitchy is the name of my my sex diary.
So, welcome to the Son Ranto Show, brought to you by the Bleacher Bunch Productions on the Fans First Network, producing such great shows like Cup of Cubby Blue, Baseball Rabbit Hole, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, which dropped today, I believe. Also, it's especially brought to you by our 109 Patreon supporters. Thank you all for who support us on Patreon, because you're sending us to Japan, just like Kenneth Wu, who sent $50 to the links below. If you see, there's 2 QR codes on your screen. If you're watching this live, there's the sunranto at Gmail PayPal. There's the at Danny-Rocket with 2 T's Venmo. And both of those places are ways that you can donate directly to send us to Japan in March next year. Thank you to Kenneth Wu, who not only donated to the Japan Fund, but also donated to the theater. So thank you very much. You donated.
That's awesome, Kenneth. Thank you for being an upstanding, wonderful citizen of the world.
You matter, man. And also our super duper ranters, special shout out to them, Rogue Wave Creative, Mike Waller, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, and Blake Beard and his wonderful tickets, and our Patreon Prize of the Month sponsors, Matt Kemmers Permanent Paintings and In the Clutch shirts. I'm not wearing an In the Clutch shirt tonight. I'm wearing an Ivy Envy shirt. Old school.
Oh, I've got that same shirt. I wear it all the time.
I'm wearing a Pitcher List shirt. They're baseball, all gay baseball shirt, which I love so much.
That's nice. A great shirt.
Shout out Pitcher List.
Well, I am wearing a 1930s throwback University of Oklahoma jersey. And this is my Oklahoma Pride hat because my son will be returning to the great state of Oklahoma tomorrow to start his sophomore year. And, but you know, marching band gets going before school starts. So he's got to get there. He's got to do the marching in the 100-degree heat and get all ready for that stuff. So just sort of thought, you know, in honor of him leaving tomorrow, I'd go Boomer Sooner.
Proud Papa. That O is crazy looking on the Oklahoma. Like
Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. It's very onomatopoetic, that O. It looks like how it sounds, you know. It looks like Oklahoma. So the wind does come sweeping down the plain. I know he's studying the weather, and what a great place to study the weather, where it's just, I mean, 1 second it's hailing, then it's freaking humid and sunny, then there's a tornado coming through.
Well, you know, the movie Twisters was based in Oklahoma, and the guy wears an OU hat throughout the thing. Or not Twisters, but Twister. And, you know, that is where like the National Weather Center is. That's where all the stuff is. It's like the best school you can go to for meteorology. So he's really into it. Before, you know, since I kind of missed my opportunity, you brought up Matt Kammerer's paintings. I want people to notice right here. I've got a new setup. You see, I'm putting my stuff up, so I got a good background here. And this right here is that Caitlin Clark that only a few people have because the University of Iowa sent him a cease and desist. I have one, and this is number 69 out of 100.
Nice.
That's awesome. Nice.
And then, of course, I've got, you know, the other one up here. This is the John Baker Day. And then I've actually been putting up, I don't know if you could see it, but I've got all these bats. All the baseball stadiums I go to, I always try to buy a little bat, and now I'm actually displaying them. So that's been
awesome
fun.
because I always say the difference between a collection and a hoard is the display.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been in a box forever, and I've just been waiting for an opportunity, like trying to figure out how to use them. And this is it. I'm just sticking them all over there between all my other, cool stuff.
Right on, man. IFG, you said you're drinking a appropriate beer for this evening.
Yes, I wasn't here for the initial reaction show, but here we are. I've got from Postdoc Brewing here locally. We've got Scattered Rays. So in honor of Randy Arozarena coming over here to Seattle and Isaac Paredes becoming a Cub, we have some Scattered Rays. And it is a hazy IPA. I don't normally go for a hazy, but this is actually quite good.
Ooh, that looks great.
Can't see through it, that's for sure.
It's hazy. Well,
it's really good. Like some of those hazies kind of, I always say it tastes a little bit like pineapple juice that was left out in the sun too long.
Yeah.
And this isn't like that. It's kind of like citrusy. You got the nice hoppiness to it, but it's got a good body. I don't know. Really tasty.
Yeah, I totally agree. When they get too sweet, it's just wrong thing. They still have to be hoppy, in my opinion. A little bit of sweet. But I went with a Breckenridge brewery.
Ooh, I love that one.
This is a vanilla porter, and I think that matches up with this team very much. They are very much just vanilla, and a porter is somebody who just opens doors for people, and they did nothing but open the door for the entire Central Division this year by sucking through the entire months of May and June, to the point that now that they're actually kind of good, it's too late. But Danny, are you speaking? Because we can't hear you if that's the case. Yeah, I think we lost Danny.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. So I'm going to pour my beer here, nice and dark. And
I don't know. I just feel like it's like I've been saying all year. They're gonna turn around so many times. They're gonna be able to generate enough power to keep the lights on in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
So I like. Yeah, they've been good the last few days, but I don't quite think that's real yet.
Well, it's too late anyway. I do want to mention that hashtag chance in the chat. All the cool kids are doing it. Blake Beard is here saying hashtag chance. Bill Sugas is saying hashtag chance. Artie Boucher, Robert Sanchez, everybody's saying hashtag chance. Dominic, Clint. And we're supposed to say things like, hey, like and subscribe. Carrie Myers saying hashtag chance. Yeah, I guess that will help us and boost our algorithms in the algoverse, is my understanding. So
that sounds like somebody should be asking permission if they're going to boost my algorithm.
Yeah, but
I think consent is implied in this case.
Yeah.
Hey, Joey Dub over here says he's drinking Founders Mortal Bloom Hazy IPA. Love Founders.
Oh, you know what? That's funny because that's the beer I had for last week when I couldn't be on the show because I was dead. So,
pretty good. You look amazing for somebody who's been dead for a week. So,
yeah, usually rigor mortis is set in. You're like, just a stiff. So I have a question. Did you do Rakes, Flakes, Throws, and Blows? I didn't remind you. If
I did.
You did them.
Yes.
I figured let's start there. I do want to mention just real quick. It is the anniversary of the first night game at Wrigley Field. I wanted to just do a quick show and tell.
The actual first night game or the supposed first night game?
Supposed one, because it was really 8-9 when they really played it, but they planned to play it on 8-8. And I went up to Milwaukee with my bass player Garrett that night, and we went and saw Roger Clemens in a doubleheader against the Brewers when they were in the AL. But before I left town, I stole this out of a Chicago Tribune newspaper box, and I forgot about it. There's pinholes in it. I had it hanging on my wall when I was in junior high school. And then I left for college and I never came back. But my mom had put a bunch of stuff in a tub in the basement. So when she moved, I got this back, and I didn't even realize that it made it through. I'm surprised she didn't chuck it, with all the other stuff. But this is my first night game special section. I was here recording with Larry Hawley, who used to work at WGN. A lot of Chicago sports people know who he is. He was here singing for my opening number for my track. I'm making a demo, and he commented on this. He goes, "That's such a cool piece of memorabilia," and I freaking love it. So anyway, you guys can fight over this after I die.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely really cool, and just the whole story behind the night game. It was a big deal. It was 88, 88. They were making this whole thing, and then it rained because the good Lord didn't want lights at Wrigley, so it rained out the game. But before that, like Sutcliffe always tells the story about how they wanted the ball, the first pitch, they wanted that for like the Hall of Fame, and so they told him basically throw a ball. We don't want the guy to hit it or anything, just throw a ball. So he threw a ball with the understanding that the next pitch he could throw a strike and the guy would just whiff on it. But he he just like teed off on it. He was pissed.
Speaking of lore and weird things that happen at baseball games, I see Crawley's here in the chat. He says the Cubs have won every game I've been to since eating the Rally pineapple cake. We'll definitely get to that. I've got some Crawley footage, but I have one of them right here because I didn't want to forget. It's a Hello Kitty pineapple cake that was brought by IFG. Now, you got these in Seattle, right? And then
Yeah, they're made in Taiwan, and I brought them over to Danny's house when I visited over the summer as just kind of like a hi, thanks for letting me crash at your house gift. But
Crawley ate it.
In Taiwan, the word for pineapple means like prosperity and success. So it's considered good luck to eat a pineapple, and the pineapple cakes particularly are good luck. So it's pretty great.
It worked the other night when we were at the game on Thursday. The Cubs were losing that entire game, and they rallied late. And let me just show the footage from this, because Crawley and I, we ate the pineapple cakes in about, I think, at the 8th inning when we really need the rally, and we ate them right before the 8th inning. And then here is the talk off from that night. It's me and Crawley were calling the game, and it kind of ends up a big crotch shot for the part of it. But here's us watching the talk off after eating pineapple cakes.
It counts down. Helsley delivers the pitch. And Mike Johnson! Right! The Buffalo! Cubs are gonna win the game! Cubs are gonna win the game! Cubs win! Cubs win! Everybody streams out of the field in a massive celebration. Look at that! Cubs win the game! Cubs win the game. Clark runs out on the field. They remove their clothing. Mike.
and then Crawley. Here's Crawley after the game, and with some sage advice.
Why would you ever leave a game early? This is why you don't do it. You never give up. Not till the final out. Only sport when there's still clock. 27 hours.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
It makes sense that Crawley was shirtless right there because he sounded like a wrestler. He sounded like a professional wrestler out there screaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, though. A lot of people had left that game. It was a Thursday night. The Cubs were anemic. The offense was bad. And, then that really kind of started what turned out to be a really great week of baseball at Wrigley Field. So, but should we do the rakes, flakes, throws, blows first? I think we should do that going into
because we're now a week into August, and this is
actually, first I want to ask
July.
Ask you the history of the pineapple cakes.
No, it's like I said, it has to do with the Taiwanese word, not the Chinese, but the Taiwanese word for pineapple means prosperity and success. So I started watching the CPBL, the Taiwan Baseball League, during the pandemic, and you can see toward the end of the season, or if a teams hitting a really big skid. Like this was back in 2022. The Fubon Guardians were like 3-16 or something, and so that somebody's got a pineapple in the dugout, and I believe they won that game. Don't quote me on that. Or during the playoffs here back in 2021, the CTBC brothers are in the Taiwan series, and you'll see there's a pineapple with a red bow on it right there behind the manager's head. You'll see them sometimes hanging from the roof of the dugout, or when they do like the altar at the beginning of the season, there'll be pineapples everywhere because you need that good luck. The baseball gods love pineapples.
And are the Taiwanese in any way aware of the significance of a pineapple in the swinger community? Were you aware of this?
I could not attest to whether that tradition carried over the Pacific Ocean.
Because that could get really awkward if some swingers came to that dugout. They're like, "Oh, look!" and the guy like takes his pants off, and they're like, "No, this is for good luck."
I saw you across the third baseline, and I really like your vibe.
During COVID, Nicole and I were down in Mexico, and we went to this. We kept extending our trip because we just could, because nothing was going on in the United States. We're like, screw it, let's not go back. So we just got this weird hotel. I'm like, I don't know, let's just stay somewhere weird and different. And we realized like really quickly that it was like there was like a swingers community at this hotel, because we just everywhere we went, like people were looking at us weird. We're like, oh God. And then like people are leaving their keys on the bar and shit like that. I'm like, no pineapples though. So if they had pineapples, I would have known, but instead I figured it out myself.
It makes me wonder about the whole Dole Whip situation at Disney World. Then that's like a pineapple treat for Disney goers.
Well, I've only got 4 pineapple cakes left, and I'm going to save them for the playoffs if we get there, because if they win 2 out of 3.
Playoffs?
I mean, look. If they win 2 out of 3 against everybody, you go to the playoffs, probably.
Yeah, if this 400 team goes 600 for the rest of the year, then sure.
Terry E says legend has it SpongeBob lives in a pineapple, and that's why the CTBC brothers had a SpongeBob theme night.
There you go.
Oh my God.
I love Taiwan baseball. It's so fun.
And that pineapple happens to be in the Bikini Bottoms.
I love being able to see a bunch of baseball that doesn't take itself so damn seriously, like the major leagues do.
Yeah.
Which some teams have a little bit more fun than other teams, but they usually are squashing that out. Although I saw some fan in the Yankee Stadium with like a 12-year-old kid was chugging a beer. I don't know. John Boyd put that out. So some weird stuff is happening. But let's do rakes, flakes, throws, blows. Then we'll talk about the series. And keep that chat going, everybody. Just say what you want, and we'll talk about it. It's one of those kind of nights. So let's rake it up here.
Today I'm going to show you how to rake.
Yeah, so we're heading back to July for this. In the month of July, the guy on top was Seiya Suzuki. And I was thinking about it, like, this might be the first time I've put him in for a rakes and flakes. I'm sure he had to have had a good week sometime that I used him.
I'll put the Cubs numbers up as you're talking about him.
But so he had the most hits, the most triples, the most RBI, and the most walks. He was tied in triples with PCA. That was only 1. And he was tied with Hap for walks as well. But that means, his slash line was 299, 376, 546, which was the best in each spot. He was the tops in the team.
Yeah. And what I'm showing, by the way, right now to everybody watching currently is the last 30 days. So these numbers are not going to be the same as what you say, which is you're just doing the month of July.
Right. Literally just the month of July. So he was all around best player on the team. And honestly, even with his injury and some struggles, like, he's leading this team in OPS this season. Like, at the start of the year, Danny, you were talking about possible MVP run with the way that he started this year and how he looked in spring training and how good he looked. And it honestly, if he had not gotten injured, that might have actually been a thought. But of course, you miss as much time as he did, and then struggled for a little bit when he came back, to get back into the swing of things. Then that takes him out of that. But he's having a really good season again.
Were there any other run-up, any other honorable mentions out there? IFG, you got anybody else you want to bring up? I'd like to just bring up PCA a little bit, just because he's been hitting the ball really well. That's kind of more into August, I think. What's going on?
Why don't you hit the next drop, and I'll tell you all about him.
I did think it was fun that Christian Betancourt hit a big old homer there.
Yeah, 3-run shot. It was a huge shot too. Really put the game on sure footing. Was that Friday that he hit that?
I think so. I thought it was. I don't know. I thought it was pretty great. It made me go, "Oh, I have to remember who Christian Betancourt is now."
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, he hit 2 doubles in the game last night.
Yeah. Why was this guy not up the whole time? We're like messing around with Thomas
Well, he was on
Vito.
the Mets, and they had to trade for him. And then when they traded, they put him at AAA off the trade. That's why he was on the team. So he was only in AAA for a little bit before.
So we got both the Mets catchers?
Oh, maybe he wasn't with the Mets. I thought he was with the Mets.
Because Thomas.
Somebody
Nito
in the
was
chat
with
tell
the
us who Betancourt was
I'm
with.
looking at
prior
Betancourt
to
right
the
now.
Cubs.
It looks like he was with the Padres and Miami last. He was with Miami.
Okay, he was with Miami. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Nito
You're right. I was thinking of Nito. But yeah, once Nito went down, then that's when Betancourt got called up. And honestly, I think he's hitting 136 on the season or something crazy like that prior to coming to the Cubs. So
yeah. And then he comes to us. I mean, this happens from time to time. Like this guy, just because of recency bias. Look at that slash line. I screenshotted this yesterday. 429, 500, 857 for a 1357 OPS. Totally sustainable.
Totally sustainable.
Well, IFG, I know you're a huge fan of the backup catcher.
Love it.
What's why you've so when's the Betancourt jersey coming?
Once he either hits a walk-off or steals home.
Oh wow, that's going to be tough because the one thing that Betancourt really is not is fast. He is a slow guy out there on the base pass.
He's on we didn't really even talk about Betancourt even coming up because Nito was gone and it just was all this roster moves happening after the All-Star break. And then, but yeah, he's 32 years old. So
yeah, in the last time we mentioned him, they had him batting in the 8th spot with PCA behind him. And they had to switch that up because with him getting on base, you cannot have PCA, the fastest guy on the planet, right behind maybe the slowest guy.
Yeah, no, you can't. Yeah, no running, no behind Isaac Paredes either. Like that doesn't work either.
Dude, he is slow. My goodness, he's slow.
So, all right. So you want me to do the flakes then?
Yep.
Okay.
I haven't worried about flakes since my grunge days. Remember them?
Nice. So this is just for July 1st to the 31st. And I had to cut this one off at 69 plate appearances because the next one after that had 23 less opportunities. So it really didn't match up at all. And this one is a bit surprising because the guy getting the flakes for July is Pete Crow Armstrong. He slashed 197, 232, 379 for a 611 OPS over the month of July, which was the worst of all the qualifying players. It was just a terrible month for him. But as Danny kind of mentioned right before I did the flakes, there is good news. Because it seems he's figured something out in the last couple of weeks. Over the last 15 days, so that's the last week of July and the first week of August, PCA is hitting 295, 311, 455, which is almost 100 points higher in each category. And his 766 OPS is now 150 points higher for those 2 weeks than it was for the month of July. So even though he got the flakes for July, he does seem to have, sort of figured something out right now.
It's exciting. I mean, one of my complaints, and I think a lot of our complaint about the Cubs, was that they're really bad at developing hitting, and they have
developing anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pitching, it's kind of coming through. I mean, you look at your steals and stuff, but Pete Crow Armstrong was a really highly touted prospect. It's who we got for Javi. And it seems to me that he could be a star in the making. He's already worth the defensive WAR that he gives you. And then you add to it, just any kind of bat. Like if he could hit like 250, get on base at a 330 clip, every single walk, every single, it's a double, it's a triple, because he has got that elite speed. He's stolen 22 bases in a row. He has not struck out now for since the All-Star break or something like that. He's got some crazy numbers of that. He's not been striking out. So he's making contact. He's spitting. Like I saw some, maybe I have it here.
Well, I will say when I was looking up his numbers for July, his strikeout percentage was only 12% or something, 12 or 13% for July. So despite not doing very well, he wasn't striking out was not his issue.
Yeah. Well, I saw this thread, and this is, I don't know if you guys follow at Crusette Stan on Twitter, but this was a pretty great thread, and it started a few days ago. But he said it's only 4 games and 13 plate appearances, but PCA has yet to strike out in August. His last Ks came on 7/31, struck out 3 times in that Red Series, didn't strike out at all in 3 games at Kansas City in 9 plate appearances. That's 3 strikeouts in his last 34 plate appearances. He's faced tough pitching too. Brady Singer, Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, Carson Spears. I don't remember. Who the hell's Carson Spears? I don't remember that guy going out there.
Yeah, Spears, Spires. That's what Billy calls him for the Reds.
For the Reds, okay. And then Nick Lodolo also for the Reds. Sonny Gray, Eric Fetty, who didn't have a very good debut with the Cardinals, Kyle Gibson, Miles Michaelis. His batting average has gone up from 180 to 202. The line is 276, 300, 448 with very hard contact. He missed a couple of home runs the other night too. That guy is the catalyst to this offense, in my opinion. They are not good enough to carry multiple offensive black holes. If he's producing, the Cubs will score. That's now 19. He kept going on this thread over the course of days. He said that's now 19 consecutive plate appearances without a strikeout for PCA. Some notes. Since his last K on 7/31, his strikeout rate is down from 25.5 to 23.3. He K'd at least once in 11 consecutive games from 6/18 to 29. Since then, 13 strikeouts and 87 plate appearances. So that's really streaky. So the average is different, but than what we've seen lately, which has been much better. And he says development. He said, I really don't think people are talking enough about what PCA is doing. That's now 22 straight plate appearances without a strikeout, and he really started this rally. He's closed off holes down and in, up and away, and down and away. Spits on nasty changes. He's 22 years old. And then Full Count Tommy said the wind also took away homers each of the last 2 days. So even though he's a flaker, I wanted to bring all that up.
Right. Well, but like I said, he was a flaker for July. In August, literally in that last week and this first week of August, he's really, it feels like it's clicked. He's figured it out, and he's now just on top of that. And if he keeps that up, I mean, come on, he might be the raker for August.
I hope so, because Jed Hoyer is still a flaker, and I realized I forgot to bring up a Cub who has raked a little bit this week.
Kyle Schwarber.
That's right. Kyle Schwarber hit 3 home runs in his last game with the Phillies. 4 hits. It was 3 of them were homers. The other one was a double. He got 7 RBI. And do you know what that puts him at the year? His on base percentage. He is currently third in the National League in on-base percentage.
Because he walks. He's got a great eye.
He walks. He's also batting .264.
So,
oh my God, really?
Yes.
Oh
wow,
my God.
264
And
is
he's got
actually
5 stolen bases.
Listen, that was a sad day. Now, if you look at his numbers the year before they cut him loose, nobody's going to look at those numbers and be like, we should have kept him like in that moment. But we all knew the potential because we saw how he could hit those balls. And that's where I think we're all feeling about Morel, that we have this kind of like once bitten, twice shy situation that
Absolutely.
that Morel will turn into Schwarber, also known as a not very good fielder, also with just serious power. And maybe not the pedigree and first round draft pickedness that Kyle Schwarber got. So I don't know if Morel's going to get the chances.
well, but you remember Schwarber was drafted as a catcher, and then after blowing his knee, that was just never going to be a thing. So, technically, he's been playing out of position his whole career. So,
yeah. Well,
There
now
was
that,
that one
I
game
was
that
I was
really-
actually looking at Morel's numbers, and he has 2 hits. He only has 2 hits with the Rays, but they were both home runs. And so he's hitting .095 in 21
he had a
plate
hit today.
appearances.
He had a hit today.
Oh,
I
did he?
saw,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't see it today. And then, but he's also walked like 4 times, and he's scored 3 times. And when I was looking at those numbers, Kyle Schwarber is exactly who I was thinking about, because that is kind of how Kyle Schwarber looked right before the Cubs got rid of him, hitting 200, taking walks, striking out a little bit too much, right? Looking, because he was doing the exact same thing that Morel was doing. If a ball's close, he understood that was a ball, but it was getting called a strike, and he was getting rung up a lot in that time frame. So it's interesting. It will be interesting. I mean, honestly, it would be a real surprise if the Cubs let go 2 of those guys. It would be amazing. But I guess, maybe it shouldn't be a surprise, because they showed that they never valued that with Schwarber, and maybe it's the same situation with Morel.
It's the same ownership. Jed's still there. So IFG, I know amongst us, we were big Morel fans, but how did you take the news, and where are you at with Paredes? Because you weren't here last week, and I just, I was sad that we didn't get to hear your take on it.
Yeah, sure. There have been a few Cubs decisions that have made me ugly cry. One was trading Kosuke Fukudome. One was
You went
giving
way
away.
back for that one.
Yeah, go back a little bit. One was selling you Darvish for a bag of beans and giving away Victor Caratini as a consolation prize or something, whatever the fuck that was. One was non-tendering Kyle Schwarber and trading Christopher Morel.
Yeah.
Those are the Cubs decisions that have broken my heart. Were they all bad decisions? I mean, Kosuke was never himself. It is what it is, right? But those other 3 are unforgivable. I hope that Christopher goes on to murder baseballs and hug many umpires and bring lots and lots of joy to lots and lots of people. And hopefully, at some point, the Cubs will get their shit together and they'll sign him when he hits free agency or something.
Yeah, when Jed gets FOMO.
And it hurts. Signing Isaac Paredes, I don't know much about him, to be honest. I know what Fangraph says. I know what Savant says. I know that Rays fans really like him, and that's fine. He's gonna hit a lot of balls to the porch.
Well, he made the basket the other day. He did have that 1-3-run homer. He had a really good game the other day. And thank God, because he was just dog shit to start his Cubs career. I was like, oh, but I was loving it in a way, because I could be like, see, I told you. I wanted Morel to hit home runs every day, Paredes to strike out, so I look like a genius. But that's not what happened.
Yeah, I know I tend to to preach doom and gloom a little bit, at least the last few years. And because that's what I see when I look at what's going on.
It's been doom
and I
gloomy.
always want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
We are in last place.
I want people to look and go, IFG, you and your doom and gloom, you are making bad choices with the things that you're thinking, because look at all of the winning that we're doing instead. And that's not happening. So I don't know. I think when you have a really shitty team that's not going anywhere, you should at least keep the fun guy.
Yeah. Oh, and that was the thing. They interviewed PCA. I think maybe that same day.
Yes.
Or the next day. And PCA was, you could tell he was a bit broken up. He's like, coming into the clubhouse. Yeah, he was like coming into the clubhouse every day and seeing that smile. And he was always positive and he always brought everybody up and all that stuff. It looked like PCA was pretty bummed about losing morale.
More than anything, I watch baseball because it's enjoyable, because it's reality theater, because it's fun. And, yes, the point is to win. But you want to win with a team that you like. And it's like starting to feel over the last few years that it's not safe to like anybody, because the second you do, they're just going to get traded away. We're not going to keep anybody long enough to make it worth buying a $500 fucking jersey.
It's like a swingers party with a pineapple.
Well, and that's the other
long enough to like anybody.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that we didn't get to talk about was those stupid Motorola patches.
Oh
Whatever.
God, I got a picture.
They're garbage.
We got lots of things to talk about tonight. Yeah. We could talk about the Motorola. I tweeted this out the other day that Dansby Swanson is pretending the M is for Mallory. The Batwing Motorola is big, dude. I mean, I was sitting in the stands and you could see it from the stands. Like, it's pretty prominent.
The thing I hate the most about it is that it is on different sleeves for different players. So if you are a left-handed batter, it's on your right-handed sleeve so that it's facing the pitcher
when you're batting.
Right. So that that's one thing that I really hate.
It's deliberately upstaging the team logo.
Yeah, so the logo, the walking bear that's been there for a long time, is now opposite the camera at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that big round blue M is more prominent on the screen than the red, white, and blue Cubs C. Because perspective is a thing, right? Like, the first thing you see is a blue circle with an M. And, I can see little kids going, oh, who's the M team? Because
well, I like
I'm not as opposed to I'm not as bothered by advertisements on jerseys and a lot of people are, but I think that one in particular, it has taken up way too much real estate. It needs to be a lot smaller, and
it's almost as big as the Cubs logo on the chest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, Nike came out with these crap jerseys with the bad size font and all this stuff. All the nothing about these jerseys are good. They sweat through them. They change colors during the game. Everything about them's bad. And now they've added this Motorola patch. I literally will just a lot of things need to change about these jerseys before I even think about getting an official jersey. You know what I mean? Because it's just not one. It's just not something that I want anymore, because I just don't even before the M patch, I didn't care for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend $200 on a jersey or $400, whatever it costs. But I like what Obvious Shirts. They're not a fan of the M patch, so they tweeted out, Motorola Cubs winning percentage is 667. My favorite team is the Motorola Cubs. Hashtag Motorola Cubs. And then he put an Obvious Shirt. My favorite team is the Motorola Cubs, which I don't think he really made, because he's got a good relationship with the Cubs. But what I love about Joe is he's still not afraid to say things. But I have an early TFC here in the comments here. Joe kept running with it because he really laid into him with his parody about the Motorola Cubs. He said, giving away a $50 gift card for every run the Motorola Cubs scored today. Retweet and follow at Obvious Shirts to enter. Hashtag Motorola Cubs. And then Patrick Patty, KY Patrick, says, you are pathetic. They are not the Motorola Cubs. They are the Chicago Cubs. Got it? I sure hope so.
Just nothing gets by old Patty, does it? Like there's not a joke that's ever been said that Patty understood. Yeah. Like he just doesn't get a damn thing. Like, come on, man.
Lighten up, Francis.
Yeah, exactly. Lighten up, Francis.
This is a game-worn Fubon Guardians jersey. The team is owned by the company called Fubon. How big is the word Fubon on here?
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's pretty small, right? It's right there. It says Fubon.
Yeah.
There's Momo. That's the streaming service that streams their games. It's about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Hey, there's Panasonic on the arm. Anybody gonna mistake them for the Panasonic Guardians with that? No.
Yeah, no, this is huge. It looks like an M team, like Miami. Like it's almost like if like the Miami City Connects when they go space age or something like that, they would have a hat that had that logo on it. You know,
I just thought they're opening themselves up for anybody to say the Cubs just folded like a Motorola flip phone.
Like a razor. They folded like
but
a
not
razor.
The cool razor that we all loved back in high school. The new one that when you fold it enough times, you end up with a nice ridge in the middle of the plastic.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Why did they bring the razor back? It's like, dude, you had your moment, you failed. There was an iPhone, everybody liked that. Now you got to copy that. Like that's your deal, Motorola. You failed. And so don't like, hey, you know what we should do? Let's bring back that phone everybody loved 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's
broke.
Insane.
Bill Suga says, speaking of M, didn't the Twins M hat look cool?
It kind of looks like
I have to be fully honest. I kind of glanced up at the game while making dinner, and I was like, when did the Marlins take the fish off their hat?
I was going to say, I thought it looked like a Marlins M as well.
Yeah.
So no, the only
today.
Yeah, the best M hat out there is the Seattle Mariners Trident M. That's the only one. I love that one. But
works down, y'all.
So just occurred to me that we're into all these other topics of conversation, but we never did throws and blows.
I mean, okay, we could do it.
Well, why don't we do it after the break and keep going on this train of thought? Because I did want to, that would be a fun little thing to come back with, you know.
Okay, let's do that.
And then, because I did want to talk to you, Michael, about the one game that was paid for by Patreon members. Thank you very much.
God.
Tickets and beer. They chipped in all the money for you to take your son for standing room only tickets. The place was packed to watch the Cubs just give it up on Saturday against the hated Cardinals. PCA's defense is awesome, but in this game, there were some issues. They fell apart in the eighth because they were winning this game. They should have swept.
So in looking at that, I've talked about this before. Morel. So
Horner.
PCA's coming in, and Horner. Look, this is a coaching thing, right? The players do need to figure it out, but how in the hell are these guys playing at the major league level, and they don't know whose ball this is, and they don't know who's like. Horner goes out and he seems like he doesn't really want to give up on it. Now, the game yesterday, you saw you saw Dansby Swanson go out to center, right? He peeled off a lot sooner, at least, but he's way out in center. I mean, there has to be some sort of an idea of where the center fielder plays and where the infielders play. And I don't know that the Cubs understand that right now. And it's really frustrating to see that because PCA is so fast and able to get to those balls. It's almost like even though PCA has played like 60 games, they have not yet adjusted to how fast that guy is. They still think they need to cover some of that. And their range should maybe be another like 10 feet less or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I was frustrated. I was frustrated by that. I was frustrated by Isaac Paredes, who is the greatest third baseman to ever don a third baseman's mitt,
Yeah, he
launching the ball over.
He should have put that in his pocket. That was
yeah.
right before that play that we're talking about with PCA and Horner.
Yeah, it was super annoying.
I wonder I wonder if that's the kind of thing that just gets better. As they play with PCA, he's wasn't with the team earlier in the year when the season started. Now he's in there every day, and I'm glad that they're doing that and they're giving it run. And that, we haven't seen Bellinger out there in a long time. Maybe it's just you've got Dansby and you've got Nico. These are great, fast. They can cover a lot of ground out there, but between those three. I mean, you don't even need freaking Happen, whoever's playing right. You don't need a third baseman.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. Horner has done that as well. Running from the second base position over to the outfield foul line and actually getting in between Bush and Seiya or whoever's playing right field at the time. And kind of mucking that up as well. It's great that you're that good. But look, there's a reason in the Bad News Bears, Kelly Leak had to stop being the dick, running around getting every ball. Like the other players didn't like him. They weren't, that's not how you actually win games by doing that. You have to understand where everybody is. So it's not, we're not only talking about PCA's ability to cover that ground. He's getting in the way of Seiya and, Talkman or even Bellinger over there at times, when he's going over there. And again,
it's his ball, though. Isn't the center fielder the field general out there?
No, I'm talking about Horner. I'm talking about Horner getting out there in the way of the right fielder.
Yeah.
He gets in the way of the right fielder. He gets in the way of the center fielder. Like he does that all the time. And that's a coaching thing, right? Like the players do have to figure it out. Like they have to accept like what the coaches say. And I don't know what's going on, but the coaches need to be like, Nico, it's not your ball.
Like IFG, I've got a question. When you worked at Driveline, when you were over there, did they do any defense work over there, or was it all pretty much pitching and hitting science? Like, did they ever do like any like here's routes that you need to take, and if this guy's this fast, then you do this,
They did not specifically do defense-based work. They did high performance like strength and conditioning, like to get your body right to do things based on what what your body type is, what you tend to do, all those things. But no, the vast majority of the like skills based training is pitching and hitting, and they do a little bit of work with catchers, but not as far as like outfield work.
Yeah, I just wonder how you would teach that. Like Michael said, you just said coaching. Hey, from this line to this is your triangle, Nico, because PCA is going to cover any blooper that's hit in between. Like they're going to eventually get. That's why I'm sad if they would trade Nico. Like that's the guy that everybody's saying was rumored to be traded, maybe even in the trade deadline. But then you got to learn that again. The new guy comes in, he's got to figure out what's his triangle versus PCA when Belly's out there, like which he's not, but when he's out in right, when Seiya's out there, like what's everybody's range? You almost have to kind of know it instinctively because every ball that's hit is different. So you just have to, I don't imagine after like 2 years of playing together, you're going to instinctively know where everybody's going to be standing.
You would hope, but I mean, obviously PCA has not been out there that long, so they're still sort of adjusting.
They're learning it, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of players. There's a lot of different teams. There's a lot of different players, and then the players are changing all the time. And it's not like, playing against how one guy hits is going to be the same all the time because he's going to adjust his swing. And, there aren't enough constants to really memorize everything.
You got to
Yeah.
feel it, and this is what Mike Waller is saying, says you can conceptually know, but so much of it is feel. Guys are going to go hard because maybe the other guy breaks the wrong way. It's communication. They're getting used to each other. And that's something just to keep an eye on, because the defense, which was supposed to be our strength, really hasn't been this year. But then you see Dansby like laying out for a ball yesterday. Like PCA is like a 6-win defensive player or something. Like, it's ridiculous. Like you have some really talented defensive players right now, but yeah, maybe they're too talented. It's like you put too many talented people together and they're all just standing there waiting for
like, no, I'm the best defender. I am the one who needs to be going for this. And then everybody does. And then nobody calls it. And then
you just need the one Kelly or two Kelly leaks.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is how it feels. It feels like, once you get out of your position, they just need to understand that a little more. And if they're not figuring it out themselves, like literally, I don't know.
They need to go to traffic school. Remember how to determine right of way.
Yeah. This is like basic Little League crap, it's frustrating. And, Waller's right. It's, they have to have a feel for it, but at some point Nico has to trust the other players to do their job. You know what I mean?
That's something that he couldn't do in Little League. Remember, all of these guys were the best players.
But the point is, they're not in Little League anymore. He should have learned that in Little League. You're like,
this is Little League stuff. And I'm like, okay, when these guys were in Little League, they were all the best player. And the coach's instructions were, get out of the way so PCA can get the ball.
Get the ball. Get out of PCA.
But it's been a long time since then. And if that's how your coach was in Little League, you had a crap team. Your team sucked because you had one good player and the coach was like, get out of the way of him. And they won like 4 games because the kid hit home runs every time he went up to bat and nobody else did a damn thing.
So speaking of getting out of the way of baseballs, I got to bring this up. I was texting with you guys a little bit, kind of filled you in. What was the game? Was it Sunday night baseball? Cubs win that game handily, which was nice to see. We usually don't win those against Sunday night. We usually get pantsed. We beat the Cardinals 6-2. Thanks to Mike Waller for the tickets. Sorry you didn't sell them, but I enjoyed having an entire row to myself.
And sorry I didn't get to go to that game because that game actually would have been affordable. Yeah. But it was at night because nothing brings the kids in for their Clark plushies like a night game at Wrigley.
So there was Mike Talkman had a really great week. He had the talk off, if you will, on Thursday. He got balked. He got balked in at some point from third base, and then he also homered in that game on Sunday night, and that ball went straight to Bleacher Jeff. I got some screenshots here. And so here's the ball coming in. Now can you see where the ball is here? It's like you got Wally there, and he's the man with the outstretched glove, and it looks like he's going to make a play on the ball. Like he almost
the ball looks like it's in his glove.
Yeah, well, it's not.
Yeah,
and then you got the other dude with the one hand in the nachos. You see him?
Yeah.
Then you've got the lady in front of Bleacher Jeff. She's screaming because she doesn't want to get hit or spill her beer. And then you've got the security guy who's
just covering his head.
He's good at protecting people and his own head.
Yeah.
That's his basic thing. So
tag yourself. I'm the guy in the pale blue in the upper left corner or upper right corner, just holding his hand up like the ball's coming to him, knowing full well that it's not.
That's exactly. He's like,
at every game forever.
Yeah, so, I'm the guy in the Illinois shirt looking and just like, I'm so close, but I just can't get to it.
Now there's Bleacher Jeff right there, and he's got a beer in his right hand. He's got his mitt on his left hand, and he's kind of looking like he's going to make a play on it, but it looks like it's going to fall short. Right now, I'll show another screenshot here, and you can see the trajectory of the ball in the screenshot as it just goes past Waldy's glove. It's still moving down. Looks like maybe Nacho's man is going to touch it, right? A little bit.
Yeah, that's Nacho Boy's ball all day if he can get a grip on it.
This should be up on the big board. who gets the ball? And, you show the first picture and it looks like it's in the guy's glove. And then you show the next picture and it looks like it's in Nacho Guy's hand. And
yeah, exactly. So, and then here's, now this one's a little blurrier because the shot is from further away. The ball is down. The ball is down. Bleacher Jeff is looking to his right. He's
trying to pin it under his little bleacher seat there.
Yeah, and now meanwhile, this poor woman that's right in front of Bleacher Jeff, she doesn't know any of these people. She's a total rando sitting there, and now she's just getting tackled by 3 dudes. and so
it looks like her head is very unfortunately in Jeff's armpit.
Yeah. And Nacho Boy, he's in the scrum, and you see Wally and the pink hat starting to run over the red shirt security guy in order to try to go get it too.
Poor security guy. He did not ask for any of this.
Well, he kind of did. He got a job at a baseball field. So. And then here's the final shot that I've kind of zoomed in. It's very blurry, but you could see Jeff's kind of reaching over the woman who is none too pleased. You have Nacho Boy kind of looking on. He's being polite enough to not reach over because he would have had to make a play on the woman. And you see Wally in the pink hat going straight down, which is where the ball is. So in the end, it was Wally that got the ball. Wally got the baseball. You could look at Bleacher Brad's Twitter. I was going to get that picture. I forgot, but
it looks to me like that lady would have had the ball if 3 people who don't live at the ballpark would have gotten the hell off of her.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what would have had. But it was very controversial because Bleacher Jeff, you see where it landed kind of in that corner. Jeff was a little perturbed that you got Wally coming across the aisle. He goes, you don't see me coming across the aisle for your balls. He goes, it's one of those unwritten rules. I'm like, I've been to a million games with you. Never once did I hear that I can't go across the aisle. I'm just saying.
Not only is that an unwritten rule, it's a rule that's never actually ever been said.
Yeah,
that is just not a rule.
That's like in 2nd grade when you're playing freeze tag with your friends and then like people have to make up rules the entire time so that they're not actually having to be frozen. Like, oh no, freezing's only 45 seconds. We never said freezing was only 45 seconds, Jared.
Yeah, exactly. And
not fair.
And Bleacher Jeff should know better than to argue and bitch about this, because one of the rules out there in the bleachers that I haven't spent a ton of time out there, but I do know this. And I know because any ball that comes out there, it's a free for all. We had to go over this whole thing with my tie guy and the kids, right? It was a gamer. It was a game winner. My tie guy was able to reach the ball in the basket. He's able to get it. So he took it. Yeah. Like those kids not have any, they're not entitled to that ball in the same way that Jeff is not entitled to any ball that goes out there. The only person who gets the ball is the person who comes up with it in their hand and can secure that thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Terry E
but
says,
also, can we maybe not molest a stranger in order to catch the baseball? That poor lady, she should get the ball. Wally should have to mail it to her or something. Lady, if you are watching the show, DM me. Give me your address. I am going to threaten Wally until he sends you the ball.
See, and I disagree with you there, IFG. She should have been going after the ball. She was hiding.
She had 3 dudes jumping on her.
Yeah.
No. Before that even happened, the ball's coming, and she's like this. She's just like saying, she's sitting in a spot that, of all the spots in the stadium, it's a bit higher likelihood that you're going to get a ball there. And when the ball comes in, you got to make a play for it. If you're just going to, duck and cover, then no, you don't get the ball. Unless, of course, the duck and cover actually works in your favor and everybody else drops the ball and it rolls right to you. Then
that's kind of what happened. Yeah.
But she didn't go for the ball. There has to be some effort for the ball. She can't.
because she didn't want to fight off 3 dudes and one security guard that probably fell over into her after she got bumped over by Wally. So I got.
She has got 3 pairs of strange, smelly hands all over her when the ball is right there.
Those guys weren't on her. They
were. Look at this.
No, they're not touching.
Nacho guy's got his head in her chest. What are you talking about?
Bleacher
Oh
Jeff
my God!
Is
You guys are full of it. You're making crap up.
Bleacher Jeff is all over her.
Look,
are you blind?
He's going for the ball. That's my point. He's going for the ball. He's not like touching her. He's not like touching her. He's not intently trying. He's not taking advantage of some situation so that he can touch a girl.
By the way, it looks like he's still holding his beer at that point. You see his right hand?
If he really wants the ball, you got to give up the beer. No, it's unfortunate she was there in that spot, but she sat there where balls get hit. I mean, that's why those 3 guys are there.
Well, I do have another ball incident to talk about, and Corey Furlong brings it up here in the chat. He said, "Didn't Jeff give Wally a dummy ball to throw back? It wasn't actually Wally; it was Bleacher Brad." So I got pictures of this. First of all, here's where Wally ended up on that, and this was a opposing team's home run. This was on Tuesday night in the Imanaga 7-3 win. And Imanaga 10 strikeouts. What a great outing for him. But this was not a great part of the game for him. Look at Wally in his Morel jersey. I think is that a Morel? No, Jason Noble. That looks like, Chad Noble. Chad Noble jersey. That you could see Wally just going over into the basket.
Did he get thrown out?
No, he did not.
No.
But he did get the baseball. And then Bleacher Brad, who you could see there in the blue hat there, he's also reaching for the ball. But as soon as Wally actually did secure this baseball, Bleacher Brad goes up and you see Bleacher Jeff hand Brad a baseball, which he proceeds to throw back. And here's Brad with the dummy ball. You see he's got 2 baseballs in his hand. Wally ended up with that ball as well. So it was a good week to be Wally. And
I know where you're going with this, and I agree with you, Danny. That's bullshit. You throw the ball that you catch back. That's it. That's what you do. If you take a separate ball and you throw that back, you're just negating the whole point of the tradition of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think throwing a dummy ball back is cheap. That's stupid.
It's just the ball.
Okay.
And they're like, and you bring this up to these guys too, and they're like, a gamer? Like they get freaking mad.
If you're throwing it back, if the message you're sending is, we don't recognize this, I'm throwing it back at you, this doesn't mean anything to me. And then in secret, you're like putting it in your pocket because it really does mean something to you. That's really dumb.
It's honest.
That's really dumb.
It's super dumb. Okay, so here's the thing, Danny, and you're out there in the bleachers enough, and and there are bleacher bums listening and watching this show. This is what I want the bleacher bums to start to do for opposing teams' homers. Nothing. An opposing team hits a home run, and everybody just sits there, and the ball lands and bounces around. And then somebody walks over, picks it up, and throws it back. Like, you don't even act like, I'm not going for that ball. Actually
don't try to make a play.
Actually just give the impression like, whatever, dude. We're not even going to recognize it. Like IFG said, we don't recognize this homer. We're not even going to attempt it.
The bullpen game?
Exactly like that.
And what if you just had to sit there and not make a play on any ball and just let it hit you if it hits you?
Well, and what would be amazing, I think what would be amazing is that like all the bleacher bums would be out there not moving, and the people who aren't normally there would be like really confused as to why the ball's sitting there. Like they're like, these guys are like, I don't know, 8-9 rows up. And they're just standing there, and there's a ball sitting on the ground, and they're just like, "What? Why isn't anybody going for it?
Yeah.
Like that
We
would be
don't care.
amazing.
So it was a great week for Cubs baseball. We have more stuff to talk about, I think, eventually. But I think we're just going to do kind of a 2-act show tonight. And because I would love to spend a little bit more time over in the Discord tonight, because we haven't done that in a long time, because we've been doing 3-hour shows like we said we wouldn't. And so I say we try not to. And let's just move on, because I'd love for all of the Patreon people who are on the Discord to come over and hang out tonight. We'll talk about what you guys want to talk about instead of what we want to talk about. But why don't we talk a little bit about
Who's that Cubby? All right, everybody. This is the Sun Ranto Silhouette game, and here's your batter. Oh, so there's a lot of good clues in this. They're wearing some old jerseys. That is an older crowd you can see there. That is some old Wrigley, backstop there. It's a bit farther away from the batter, and there's no advertising anywhere.
And he's rocking the high socks too.
Yep, rocking the high socks. He's a right-handed hitter.
That's a really high elbow. That's like,
yep, doing it.
that's like some little league baseball high elbow going on.
Yeah. Set your watch by that elbow. The other thing I want to mention we're going to do when we come back, Amazon Prize of the Month. So I'm going to play a commercial for Patreon. So you should really join us, patreon.com/sunranto. It's only $1 a month. You get a whole show that nobody else gets called Cubs Pod. So it is a daily Cubs show, and you should be a part of it. Patreon.com/sunranto. Also, I'm going to play a Amazon commercial and an In the Clutch commercial. We're going to just take a little bit of a break here. Go get yourself a beer and guess in the chat who this Cubby is. And we'll be right back. Okay? Okay. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his double U. Cody Bellinger, smoking dupes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your strobe. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com, do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Son Ranto Show by shopping through sonranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sonranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Son Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought. And you'll be helping the Son Ranto Show buy all the stuff we need to stay on the air talking about the Cubs and other stuff. Plus, you could win a monthly prize if some of your stuff is chosen for Amazon stuff of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more stuff. sonranto.com/stuff. That address again is sonranto.com/stuff.
Who's that?
That Cubby.
Cubby. All right, we got a few guesses in here. Clint Nathan said Fergie, LOL, and I liked that. I like that guess. It's not Fergie, but I decided, you know what? Real quick, I'm going to go look for a Fergie Jenkins batting picture on the internet. I cannot find one, or at least I couldn't in the limited amount of time that I had, because apparently, even though pitchers actually did hit his entire career, he didn't hit enough to have a picture of him doing it. Somebody else, Tom Cooper says Bobby Mercer. Interesting pull right there. Bill Sugas says like Santana, and I don't know what that's a reference to. It is definitely not Santana. Santana carries a guitar. But Alexander Miller had the first correct answer, and that is Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks.
Dominic had it. Terry had it. Waller had it. Can't wait to listen to Mike Waller's new Cubs PS Plus podcast, too. I mean, he had Greg Huss on.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be
wow.
a great one.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So, was that the time before? I forget. But either way, I can't wait to. That was the time before, but he had a new one drop just the other day. I get them all mixed up. There's so many great shows on the Bleacher Bunch that you should really go and tell everybody about the Bleacher Bunch on wherever you download your podcast. I know that all the people here watching right now watch us, and I don't know, you probably don't listen to it again. I certainly do. I've been trying to be better about doing the TikTok thing, cutting up our shows. We actually say some pretty intelligent things from time to time that are worth sharing out.
Honestly, Danny, we are a very, very smart show. We look at things differently. We have 3 opinions on this show that are oftentimes different, but I think as well, if not more informed than a lot of people, because we get to say whatever the frick we want and nobody can tell us not to.
'Tis true. So this show is also just want to remind you, permanent paintings, Matt Camera on Etsy. Also, in the Clutch shirts, they have an incredible array of Son Ranto themed shirts that they've allowed us to come up with. I'm going to put up our little In the Clutch collection. There's the Stack or Die. There's the Take a Chance. There's the We Need More Cups. There's the Fly the Waffles. And, of course, the Fly the W, where Clark is flying quite the W. All part of the In the Clutch collection. My favorite Morel shirts of theirs, I guess they're becoming Rays shirts, unfortunately. So,
yeah, the Destroyer.
Yeah, it's got to be a Rays shirt now.
No, my morale was destroyed.
I know. My morale and my morale. So where were we with this show? What were we going to do next? I think we were going to do throws and blows because we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
You know what blows? Christopher Morel isn't a Cub.
That absolutely does blow.
It does. That's really all we need. So I'll put up the throws because we haven't done it yet, and we're there.
Throw up my hands to the Lord.
Oh, I throw up when I put my hands on the Lord too. Okay, so the thrower for the month of July was our only all-star, Shota Imanaga. He pitched in one less game than Tyone and Steele, but his ERA was over a run lower, and he had the lowest whip on the team. So we're talking like a difference of like 6 innings. And while Steele did have more strikeouts, he had 28 in July. Shota, in 6 less innings, had 27. So that's a pretty high, it's a much higher strikeout rate than
10 against the Twins.
Than even what Steele was doing. So Shota's 27 strikeouts, easily the best mark. His only issue, the only issue he had all month was the 4 dongs that he gave up, which was not good. But he wasn't the only one. Honestly, the starters have been very good, but in July, it was rough. 6 starters gave up 20 home runs between the 6 of them. And if you want to know how bad that really is, Justin Steele only gave up 1. So the other 5 gave up 19. It was not a good month for Cubs starters to keep the ball in the park.
Yeah, that kind of stands to reason. Summertime, wind's blowing a little bit more out at Wrigley. You're going to give up a few more.
Yeah. So in the bullpen, the thrower was Jorge Lopez. Apparently he can throw more than his glove. He was tied with Porter Hodge in innings pitched with 11. And while he gave up 9 hits and 6 walks to Hodge's 4 and 3, he only gave up 1 run to Hodge's 3 and no homers. Hodge did give up the dong, and that's kind of what pushed it in Lopez's favor.
Well, Hodge had that really tough. He was part of that nightmare inning in the 8th inning that you saw. So then I think it started with a walk and a hit by pitch.
But that wouldn't have been in July, though.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been in July. But yeah, he was part of that. It was ugly. But that's it. That's our throws.
Cubs pitching has remained pretty good. Well, how about blows? Do we have one? We probably do.
You just put your lips together and blow.
Oh, God, that made my lips tingle. Okay, Kyle Hendricks looked like he might be the blower this month with his 5.25 ERA over 5 games. But then as I was looking, Hayden Wesneski popped up as actually the worst. He had 16 innings. The Wes gave up 3 dongs and 16 runs. Now, even though only 9 of those were earned, 16 runs over 16 innings is a bad month for you.
I thought our team was built for defense.
Well, yeah. Now, he did strike out 14 in 16 innings, so that's pretty good, but ultimately he just barely squeaks by Hendo as the worst starter of the month. But, of course, as I said last month, the only guy that really blows in this organization is the Pobo. We're going to call him the Pobo from here on out, Jed Hoyer, because he definitely blows, and I don't think he has any clue what he's doing. And until further notice, we can talk all we want about guys who blow. Nobody's going to blow as much as Jed Pobo Hoyer.
You know what really blows? Adbert Alzolay is going to have a UCL reconstruction, so we probably won't see him until 2026.
Yeah, it's really sad.
That blows.
And also, like, I remember saying before the season started that I didn't believe he was the answer to closer, but it would have been nice if he would have. I mean, they made
it would have been nice if he was.
If he was, and it did work out, or even the back of the bullpen arm, even if it ended up being Neris and stuff. But, losing him and Merriweather, I mean, you look at all those blown saves and you think of some of those games going the other way. And, even if you blew the save in the 6th, maybe Alzolay there would have helped. But really, the issue has been the offense. The offense has not clicked until very recently, and even when they do click, you don't really trust that it's going to stay. So, but I did want to point this out about the bullpen, our bull penis awesome, because this is the Cubs bullpen since June 1st, according to Michael Cerami on Twitter and stats. 2.66 ERA, second in MLB. 0.68 home runs per 9, second in MLB. 207 average against, second in MLB. 3.54 FIP, third in MLB. 17.1 LD percentage. That's line.
I'm not sure what that means.
Line drive.
Yeah, I think it's line drive.
21% soft hit percentage. First in MLB. 87.1 mile per hour exit velocity. Second in MLB, like as in the lowest. And only a 4.2% barrel rate against, which is first in MLB. So they've really put it together.
Well, look, first off, shout out to Michael Cerami for coming up with some real numbers that make sense, because this all got started for some reason on like August 2nd or 3rd or 4th or something. I think ESPN tweeted out like, since June 27th, the Cubs bullpen has been blah, blah, blah. And I was like, June 27th? What the hell happened June 27th? And then everybody started picking up on that. And then you started to see it everywhere. So June 27th, the Cubs have been this and that. And I was like, wait, what the hell happened on June 26th? And when I looked, the bullpen gave up nothing on June 26th. And I'm like, wait, why wouldn't they go to June 26th? And then I looked in like June 25th. Like, they were good. And I'm like, why did they choose June 27th? What about that? So
just cutting around the good flesh. That's all they're doing.
So props to Michael Cerami for looking. He probably thought the same thing as me. What the hell happened on June 26th? Then he went back. He's like, if we actually just put a real date on it, like June 1st, like the start of a month, and we put the entire 2 months in there, like we have a real number. Like we're not, it doesn't look like we're trying to cut around the bad flesh, like IFG said. It looks way more legit, and maybe the Cubs aren't the top, but those are great numbers since, June 1st.
Man, if we put the Cubs bullpen right now, right next to like the Mariners starters, who are like at 60% quality starts in every game that they're in, like it's ridiculous. Man.
Yeah. So Pinka says, is June 27th the start of the second half of the season?
A combined offense that can't hit balls.
Yeah. I have no idea. Maybe it is. Maybe that's the 83rd game. Somebody else can look up.
Still, that doesn't make sense, because then you're just counting from like the second half of the season. Well, in this part of the second half of the season, like it's all pretty arbitrary.
Yeah, it's like, we've been perfect since blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, that was the first day of the All-Star break, and they've only played one game since then. So
exactly. And that's the thing. And everybody hates those kind of stats. And so when you throw out something like June 27th, but you don't explain, like if it is the 82nd game of the season, then say that. Since the 82nd game of the season, everybody would understand, okay, that's when the second half started.
Yeah, but
don't just put up a random number, because nobody knows what that is.
Yeah, it's all random.
And Waller says that June 27th was game 82, and he also says it's still stupid.
Yeah.
But at least somebody, like, look, I watch baseball every day. And I didn't know June 27th was the 82nd game because it's not the 82nd game of the season for everyone.
For everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Might not have even been the 82nd game for the team we were playing. It
didn't make any sense.
Even line up, because I see that we're in last place right now, but we've also played 2 more games than the Reds, so we're technically in 4th place and not 5th. Because we didn't even line up there if we were playing the Reds. Nathan Waller should replace Jed Hoyer. I think we could probably do better with a Cubs fan voting system, you just even the meatheads, like, let everybody in on it. Like,
I already offered to manage the White Sox, so
you might get a chance.
You
only have an interim manager right now.
I couldn't possibly do worse, right?
Yeah, my son and I were.
And if I did, it would be entertaining as hell.
Yeah, it would be. It honestly would be.
Yeah.
No, my son and I were out walking the dog yesterday, and we were chatting and talking about the upcoming Cubs Sox series, and we were talking about how like Reinsdorf just needs to sell the team, and I was like, it would be awesome, because Reinsdorf wants the city of Chicago to pay for a stadium, right? What's the stadium going to cost? Like $2 billion?
Like a gajillion dollars. Yeah.
Right. But what are the White Sox worth? About $2 billion.
Yeah. So give us the team.
Why doesn't Chicago, the city of Chicago, just buy the White Sox, leave them at the Great, which they probably already own anyway, because it was all tax funded bullshit anyway. So like, just the city of Chicago, buy the White Sox, and then, as we were talking about this, like, I thought, yeah, that's kind of a good idea. Green Bay does it. Green Bay, the city, owns the Packers, and they love that. But, like, as I was thinking, I was like, if the city bought the White Sox, they might actually be able to take over the Cubs' top spot in the city. Because you could run every ad as the city of Chicago against the Ricketts. Like, the Cubs aren't your team.
Well, I think
the Cubs are the Ricketts team. The Sox are your team. Well, and that's what you would do if your city owned the team.
The city of Chicago is making pretty much money from the Ricketts, too. I don't think they're going to look down their nose on Tom Ricketts' money.
Man.
Right.
I'm talking about Chicago buying a baseball team. I'm just fantasizing.
If I were hypothetically in charge of spending money on advertising for the White Sox and the city owned the White Sox, I would absolutely make it a city versus the Ricketts thing. And the Ricketts would love it because it would sell shitloads of tickets.
Probably.
Yeah, just because it'd just be controversy. There's no such thing as bad.
I love a manufactured rivalry. It's great for ticket sales.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want to bring the Sox up, like you want to actually bring them up to the level of the Cubs, like that's kind of how you do it, is you have to sell it to everyone
I'd bet
the
White Sox are your team, not the Cubs.
I'd buy shares.
If I'm spending $2 billion to build a stadium and so many millions of dollars every year to keep it up, what is it to me to spend money on players who are actually going to draw people in to spend money at my ballpark that I just invested all this money in?
Well, and we know baseball teams they just make money hand over fist, right? So ultimately, owning the White Sox would actually benefit the city, because the proceeds wouldn't go into some rich billionaire's pocket. It would be going into the city's money. Yeah. Like, they would have an operating budget, of course, but then they would have more money on top of that they would be able to use for other things.
First thing I'm doing is buying Juan Soto. How much money do you want? Here's a blank check. You fill it out. We'll deal with it later.
Yep. Here's the thing, though. MLB would never do it, because if they did,
all the cities would want to do it.
Well, it's not even that all the cities should want to do it, but it's because as a government entity, their books would have to be open. And MLB does not want that. Like, the only team that has semi-open books is the Braves. And I think they hate that you can look at the Braves books. Yeah.
Yep.
So the last thing I wanted to bring up before giving away the Amazon prize of the month and talking about how terrible the White Sox are, who are going to be playing for 2 games this weekend.
I'm so disappointed that they won a game.
I know.
By the White Sox.
I had my fingers crossed. Halloween. I wanted them to go for 27. I wanted the all-time losing record, because if you're going to suck that hard, you should at least suck historically.
And we would have broken the record.
They have the all-time AL record.
Well, they tied the all-time AL record. They didn't even break it. Right?
Hey,
they could have lost one more game and I'd have been satisfied. But if you wanted to go back to
we'll get into it.
If you tie the world record, you're the world record.
We'll get into the Sox in a second. But first, I wanted to bring up something really nice. And that Dansby Swanson is so proud of his wife. and that he's been crying. He said the amount of times she's pretty much made me cry over the last 2 weeks watching her is pretty ridiculous. Just so proud of her. And
That's very nice.
yeah, no, I just thought that was a nice thing. I don't usually bring up nice things on the show.
I appreciate though that Dansby is a wife guy. We love a wife guy.
Well, and then you got Talkman shouting out women's health.
Yeah, shout out women's healthcare.
Yeah, he's like hitting
It's a
walk
walk
off
up every time his wife goes to the gynecologist. We love him.
That's awesome.
It is. He does. It's every time. You know, you keep her, I guess, pregnant. I don't want to say that, but like it seems to be working out because I assume she's pregnant right now.
That's also
going a bunch.
That's not that's great and all, but let's hope she's pregnant, because if she's going to the gynecologist that often and she's not, then there are problems. He's having issues, and that's not a good thing. That's more of a Castellanos home run.
Look. If his wife is healthy and is going to the gyno regularly once a year, like she should, we are guaranteed a walk-off once a year. We've got 26 players. Make all the ladies go and get their cervical cancer screening. Let's do it. Everybody will be healthy. Cubs will win baseball games. Shout out women's healthcare.
Yeah.
No, I'm all for this. And not only that, we already know when the Cubs will be playing the Cardinals. Like we always know, like we know next year what days, so she can schedule that for that weekend, because it's always got to be the Cardinals. That's what we want to see. We want to see the walk-off, talk-off.
Yeah, God, Cardinals
I wonder
fans.
if it works for mammograms.
Yeah, we'll have to start a spreadsheet to see. For example, I went to the dentist today. So the Cubs were off today, so there's going to be.
Well, see, that's your fault, isn't it?
It's my fault. Yeah, I should have scheduled it for tomorrow. I'm taking my mom to the doctor tomorrow, so maybe I don't know what we're gauging this by though.
Just you know what? Tell them to start Bethancourt. He's an old, slow man, but maybe he's a home run for your old, slow mother.
Yeah, exactly. It might work out perfectly, and then I don't know. We need rules for this game.
I would call the Reds though right now and just tell them to sit Castellanos or the Phillies. Sorry,
Phillies. Yeah,
the Phillies and tell them to sit
my mom eat a
Castellanos.
pineapple. God, I would love if she would eat anything. That's partly why we're going to the doctor. If anybody has any advice how to get an old woman that won't eat anymore to eat, I'm about to dose that woman with the freaking cannabis. Because
is she?
I was gonna say, give her the munchies.
Yeah, that also. But if she's doing a thing where like textures are hard, because I know like sometimes old people end up like toddlers, where they'll eat 4 things and all of them are orange.
Yep.
I remember like a lot of things. My dad used to hide eggs in milkshakes and stuff like that. Like I have all the tricks. Side me after the show. I have all the tricks for how to hide cool stuff. My kid was in the orange phase. I used to like grind up vegetables and make them into like chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I got everything going in a shake right now with a bunch of weight gain powder. It's like
add an egg, anything you want, just grind it all up in there.
So as long as I'm talking about mom, I was going to bring this up later in the show, but we did all go to the game on Friday. Had a great time. Yay! It was her first game back. There we are. Jose Orlando, that hat you gave me, mom stole it. Well, first my sister stole it, then mom stole it because she didn't like how her hair looked at the ballpark because it was windy. And and then so there's a picture of my family that's you can't really tell, but the woman in the middle in the Bleacher Bum Band shirt, that's Lacey, my sister's wife. She's gonna have a baby in just 2 months. So I'm going to be Uncle Danny yet once again. And they're standing there next to my 2 sisters. And you see my sister next to my mom. That's my sister Amy. And from California, my other sister Alyssa, who lives in town now. So we had a really nice time out at the game. We saw W sing some Go Cubs Go. Just so you know, if you're ever going with somebody that might have some trouble with steps and you don't have a wheelchair, last row, upper deck in the left field is where you want to sit, because go right up the elevator, go right down to the 10th row, and you're good. you know. Otherwise, you probably want to sit closer, like where Crawley sits, because that's the first row, which is a better seat. If you don't have trouble with steps, get to the first row.
Well, and I will say, when Eli and I were there, we had standing room only tickets. So, of course, we went directly up to 309 and we sat down because there was nobody in a bunch of these seats. And we sat there until the third inning when a 26-person bachelor party showed up.
Oh, no, thank you.
And they had 26 seats across like 4 rows. It's like, God damn it, guys. So we get up and we move it. And then we went over to the right field side where there were some more open seats. We sit there from the third until the start of the 7th inning. And these guys show up, 2 dudes with 2 girlfriends. They have these tickets.
In the 7th?
In the 7th inning. We were just like, and here's the crazy part. Right behind us, in the row behind us, there were 2 women sitting there, and a family showed up in the 6th. And they were like, yeah, we're from Indiana. We got our times wrong because we didn't understand the time change or some dumb crap.
Well, they should have been early. They gain an hour.
Right, but they thought the game started at 2:20. I don't know, but they showed up in the 6th
early.
And had to move these people. No, they thought it started 2:20 Chicago time because all the games start at 2:20 Chicago time. But that's when they showed up, and they went into the 6th. And these people had to leave, and I felt bad. I was like, yeah, you can sit right here if you want. And they're like, well, we actually have one more person. So, and we're like sitting there kind of like, wow, I can't believe somebody showed up in the 6th. And then somebody showed up in the goddamn 7th. And so then we had to move, and we moved over to section 420, first row, and watched the rest of the game from there. And I'll tell you right now, go to the left field side. The left field side is just such a much better view of every hit and everything. Like, you can see things so much better on that side.
Right field sucks.
And if you're coming to T-Mobile Park,
except for in the bleachers,
the entire bottom part of the bowl has an accessible section all the way up at the back. So you are under the awning, so you're not going to get the sun on you. You have beautiful view. 129 and 131 are the best sections. So you're going for 139 or 131 or 129A. That's where you're buying your tickets. Make sure the A is after that. And that will get you the accessible seating where you can bring a wheelchair, or there's folding chairs. You don't have to deal with the whole thing. You get the usher is going to stand there and make sure nobody is all up in your space, and you're really close to the concessions.
Yeah, and you get them a little bit more space. You're probably close to the bathrooms too, which is
absolutely bathrooms right behind those sections. I always sit in 129. That's my favorite section.
Nice.
So, we're in the money. You know, somebody play a cha-ching drop. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Because since the last time we did Amazon Prize of the Month, which was 2 months ago, we have earned $22 for 71
Heck yeah,
items.
that's like, that'll buy us a cocktail and a half at the airport on our way to Japan.
Well, that helped because of Prime Day or whatever.
Yeah,
like
Prime Day, we had quite a few people getting in there. So we have quite a few items. And if you don't know how this works, the items are in a list. There is a number that corresponds with each item. We're going to pick one number out of the corresponding item. I'll just put it up here so you can see. Like, for example, number 1 is Apple AirPods Pro. Number 16 is Arm & Hammer Clump and Seal Platinum. Looks like probably kitty litter. And then let's go all the way to Amazon number 3. We look at number 69. Oh my!
Nice.
Hey!
Oh my! Look at number 69.
You're gonna have to read it to me. I'm an old man.
Taco going.
Wait, did you say something about a taco?
Yes, they got the pocket taco.
Oh, a pocket taco. Wait, what's a pocket taco?
It's what you would use for what's in number 69.
A male masturbator, a transparent pocket portable pocket taco.
Pocket taco.
I guess. But if you look up to number 64, there's a BXT.
Hold up. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt. But who is responsible for number 71? Out yourself right now. Who's getting the Project 2025 book?
Oh no.
Exposing the hidden dangers. Blah blah blah.
Oh,
it might be anti. It might be anti.
Is this like exposing the hidden dangers of that couch fucker or whatever?
Yeah. It might be exposing the hidden dangers of Project 2025. I don't think it's
I think we should take a moment here to say, in case anybody is a little nervous right now, we don't have to actually say who won. We don't know who bought these things.
Yeah, we don't know who bought these.
And so if number 69 wins,
you got to come
Danny's going to know. I mean, obviously Danny's going to know. But you know what? Maybe use somebody else's email and just
if you're doing anything fascist, don't attach it to our account. That's all we're asking, really.
You win this. There's this cute little Nick Madrigal.
You win our version of the pocket taco.
Yeah. You can use this.
You put a slushy in there. Yeah. And you drill a hole, and you're good.
And you're good. Just put peanut butter. And so anyway, I really do.
My God.
But you see that somebody else, they actually bought 2 male masturbators because the other one might have broken. Number 62 is a sex toy.
Look, you don't want to share them. And if you're going to be with a friend hanging out, pocket tacoing, then you want them to have their own.
Well, there's 3 of them. There's number 62, number 64, number 69. I'm wondering if it's one of those situations.
Hold on. That feels like we're getting some big gyms sent to us here soon, Danny.
Oh, I hope so. I ate all 3 of those. So,
hi, if there are any sex toy companies out there that would like to sponsor the Sun Ranto show,
well,
DM me.
We do have sex toy sponsorship. Let me see what our sex toy. If you want straight up sex toys, you can click our link at sunranto.com/shopping, which there's sex toys. I'm going to find out what ours.
Oh yeah, you have to disable your ad screener when you go to that site.
Vibrators.com. It's very simple.
I didn't know
go to Here, I'm going to drop the link in the chat.
Here I am shopping on Adam and Eve like a loser.
Yeah, vibrators.com. They said, oh, shoot. Okay, well, they rejected my comment because I think I said vibrator. But there it is. Facebook let it through. Vibrators.com. Everything else is
okay, great news. It's Project 2025 exposing the hidden dangers of the radical agenda for everyday Americans. So probably not a fascist, probably like a normal person who just wants to read things by somebody named Carl Jung, but it's not with a J.
Yeah, not a
Oh,
J.
when you said Carl Jung, I literally in my head spelled
Like, is he still alive?
J-U-N-G.
No, he is not. Well, while I'm on it, hashtag chance in the chat. Patrick Levy's here. Hey, like and share. Like and share. I'm supposed to say that.
Clint goes stocking stuffers for Christmas, eh?
Yeah, literally stuck in some
stockings
stuff.
are you stuffing, sir?
This show's getting real dirty. We should give away. So 1 through 71 are the numbers, and somebody's gonna win it here. I really hope it's number 69. So let's give it a spin.
Come on!
And whoever is the winner wins with Nick Madrigal.
For the first time ever, every ranter is pulling for one specific number in this one.
It looks like
let's go.
Be number 44.
Oh,
44 is the winner. So let's see what that corresponds to.
The Anthony Rizzo, the Hank
Tony.
Aaron.
That would be on number 2. Number 44 is the Celsius On the Go Peach Powder Sticks.
Ooh, somebody's getting their water for the day. Somebody is well hydrated and just won a Nick Madrigal sippy cup.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, that would be perfect. You put that in there, you put the powder in, and then you can just shake the hell out of Nick Madrigal like we all want to.
It's also Tony Rizzo's birthday today. Happy birthday, Tony.
And 44 came up, so
yeah,
all coming together. It's all coming together. So if you want to shop,
Oh, no, those pocket tacos.
That's why I said you need more for your friends.
exactly.
Oh, we're going to hell.
If you want to buy your own pocket taco on Amazon, just go to sunranto.com/stuff and click on our links and buy stuff, and we get a little kickback from everything you buy from Amazon. Fill your cart, go to our links, click them. We get a little bit of money, and I mean a little. It took 3 months to make $22. So, yeah, JD Vance, maybe it's him. Maybe off the couches and into the tacos. White Sox.
It's really easier to clean up.
Couch tacos.
So Grady Sizemore is their new manager, acting interim manager.
Hey.
I'll start with a John Pincus quote. This is the White Sox could still end up being the losingest team in all of baseball. And because the 1916 A's ended up with a .2353 winning percentage, that equates to a 38.1 wins over a 162 game season. Therefore, the Sox need to end up 39 and 123 to avoid the worst modern record. This means they need to go 11 and 35.
That's very possible. They could go 11 and 35.
They need to go 11-35 to not be the worst.
Oh, so if they get 11 wins, then they will not be the worst. But
yes,
we all know they're the worst.
This brings up a fantastic opportunity for a resurgence of a cultural event, the Grady's Ladies.
No, now what is this for Grady Sizemore?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
you remember Grady's Ladies?
Well, too bad the Sox have no fans.
No, I don't know what Grady's Ladies are.
Yeah, tell me, do you know what is the Grady's Ladies?
I've seen this. I honestly, if I'm fully honest, I did not know anything about the Grady's Ladies before today. However, as the person who is currently hoping that White Claw will sponsor the Woo Girls section at T-Mobile Park, I am fully in support of any baseball girls' obsessive behavior. And yes, apparently Grady Sizemore had a sisterhood, the Grady's Ladies.
Bill Sugas wondering, how past his bedtime tonight, Bill? He says, is it the Sanford and Son Grady?
Grady Sizemore. Look.
Google it.
Grady Sizemore. He's buying the large pocket taco, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, I see. Well, he's got big shoes to fill and big underwear to fill because it's not been a good season for Pedro Grifol. I mean, totally lost the clubhouse a while ago. They waited. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'll repeat it anyway because it sounds like something they would do. They waited until they actually won a game so that the new manager wouldn't have that hanging over his head and being asked about it every day when he came in as the new manager. So they waited until they actually did win. So until they fired him. It was also an off day today. Going into the series with the Cubs. They're 28 and 89.
That's amazing. 28 wins at this point. Like what's the old adage? You're going to win 60, you're going to lose 60. And it's what you do with the 60 in between or whatever.
Oh, they lost them.
That's a metaphor. What?
They're not even going to get to 60. I don't even think 60 is in. Like, there's no chance for them to get to 60.
No.
Not really. I mean, yes, there is a mathematical.
Are there 40 games left?
Yeah. Yes, there's 40 games left. But there's a mathematical possibility that they could get there. But with the way that they're playing, there's no way they're going to get there.
Oh, here's the Sizemore girls. We are back and better than ever. So is Grady. He knows we're the original since 2005. Let's go, Tribe. So did they get this back going now?
That looks like a picture from 2005. So I'm just assuming it's the girls. I just love the fact that there is a dude who I literally didn't know existed who has a cult following among baseball ladies. I feel like I need to be part of this. Whatever your jersey is, I'm buying it. Let's go.
Well, it was with Cleveland. And so division rival. I mean, to what extent the White
But
Sox
now
have
he's
rivals.
the White Sox.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if the Cleveland Guardians are going to like that because, when I was looking up these stats, there are some kind of crazy outliers within the stats for the White Sox. They're 5-5 versus Cleveland.
Oh,
They're got a 500 record versus their division rivals who happen to be in first place.
so they had the opportunity to kind of like when the Cubs beat the living crap out of the Phillies that year that the Phillies went to the World Series. The Sox could just beat up on Cleveland and end up with, owning the season series against them. That'd be great.
They could. If they just win, well, I guess they're just about to clinch it. It's seven does it, I think. So if they take 2 or 3 the next time they see them, they're also 2-1 versus Atlanta. They're 2-1 versus the Cardinals. So that's kind of funny. But they are 1-12 versus the Royals and Minnesota. So that's pretty bad. And those are, of course, division rivals. But if you recall, Cubs barely beat them at Wrigley Field, and it took some miracles at the end of the games.
Some miracles, but they did sweep them, the 2-game sweep. And then didn't the White Sox sell like 2 or 3 players like the next day or something like that? Was that this season?
What? They sent Eloy to the Orioles, I know.
Who's been doing great. Did you see?
He looks so happy. Like that boy has been aching to get away from that team very clearly.
Yeah.
He never wanted to be anything but a Cub at first. He was sad about leaving the Cubs.
Yeah. He was not sad about leaving the White Sox. He's like, I was never actually getting injured on the field. I would bump my knee. I'd come in and Eric Luley would punch me in the leg. And then I'd be on the IL for the next 20 days.
Yeah, they traded Eric Fetty. Yeah, that happened. He went to the Cardinals, and then we beat up on them. But they traded a few guys early. Like they've been selling off this whole year when they could. And then
I thought that started right after the Cubs played them earlier this year.
So Fangraphs has them at 116 losses, which does not break the record, which is the Mets at 120 in 1962. The 2003 Tigers lost 119, so was what they would need for the AL record, and they just lost the 21 in a row that tied the 88 Orioles. And what I love looking at is all the great players that are on really bad teams that do crappy shit. It's like you got the Ripkins on that team. Eddie Murray is on that team. Like they were kind of towards the end of their careers. But then you also like the 1962 Cubs what's the worst Cubs team? 61, 62. One of those teams is really bad as well. And I think they've got like 5 Hall of Famers on the team. And it's the worst Cubs team by record ever with 5 Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Like, how do you do it? Like,
that I really do feel like that's one of the reasons we like baseball is because you can have players on the team who are really good and you love them immensely and you can still just like drag shit the entire year because no one person is going to make a difference.
The first half of this year was kind of like that. I'm like, why are we losing? This doesn't make sense. Like, these guys were supposed to be good. And
they're all pretty okay on their own, but it's how people play together and there's vibes involved. And I really do I say it all the time. Baseball is both science and religion. You cannot math your way to the World Series.
You can't. And Jed is proof of that. And but here's some math. A negative 247 run differential this year.
Amazing.
Wow.
I did like sort of see through the grapevine and I didn't pay as close attention. So like, I don't have screenshots or anything, but I did see that somebody was like Eloy and this other guy were Eloy and this other guy were just kind of phoning it in the last few months because they didn't care anymore. The dude had already lost the clubhouse and nobody was really trying. And so I guess they traded everybody off and then fired the manager because like, it's kind of like a kindergarten teacher going, 5 people are in trouble, so everybody's in trouble, and we're just going to reset and start over next year.
Well, it's a big 3-way trade. That's
where
Wallace
Steady
talking
went.
about. Yeah, with the Dodgers and Cardinals, and you can't remember everyone to play. But yeah, I just know that White Sox fans were not happy. They're like, we got what? Jack shit. They didn't get anything, and they unloaded all these dudes. Yeah.
Huge Rockies paying Nolan Avocado to play for the Cardinals energy over here.
Yeah.
It's just they're ripping it to the freaking studs, and it's just sad to see. I mean, although I did see that tickets were pretty expensive to go because it is the Cubs. I don't know why anybody would go, especially now that there's no record in play. Cubs are a +1, by the way, run differential. So 500, here we come. The White Sox are last in OPS, second to last in homers, second to last in walks, but they strike out the same amount as the Cubs do.
Just like it says, Robert ? No, he is still a Cub. Actually, they did not trade him. The
You
one
mean
thing they
still
could have
White
done
Sox?
to improve their team this season.
You mean
He
White
is-
Sox?
He is
Yeah.
on the White Sox.
Yeah.
Yes, White Sox. I thought I said that. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yes, no, Luis Robert is still a White Sox. Yeah.
And then they have terrible pitching too. Their ERA is second to last. Rockies are the only team worse because they play in Colorado. They've
Dylan
got
Cease is also still a White Sox, as far as I know.
Yep. The White Sox have given up the second most walks.
No, Dylan Cease.
No,
I thought
Dylan
he went
Cease-
to
Oh wait,
Padres.
no, wait, he's gone. Sorry.
No. Dylan Cease is on the
he's
Padres.
Padres, and he's doing well. I thought.
You're thinking of what's his
No, Garrett Crochet.
Garrett
Sorry,
Crochet, yeah.
the other C name.
Because he screwed him out of the trade by yapping his freaking gums that he didn't want to go past playing in the postseason because his arm hurts. So he's building back from injury. I mean, he's like, hey, fuck it. I have my whole career in front of me. I'm not going to just try to throw my arm off to win you a worthless hunk of metal, according to Rob Manfred.
Fair.
But check out this terrible combination. They've given up the second most walks and the most homers. Like, that's just like, walk another guy, 3-run homer. Like, you can just see that unfolding night after night after night.
I mean, that feels like the dream for the Cubs lineup. Like, this is what they've been waiting for. Will you please just walk us and then let one of our guys hit a home run? Because they don't do anything else.
And then there are no bright spots because it's the exact same for the bullpen. Like, they also walk everybody and give up a ton of home runs. Defensively, they're bad. They have -70 defensive run saves to the Cubs +16, and they've committed 69 errors.
Nice.
The fifth most in baseball. The Cubs have 56. They have a .694 DER defensive efficiency ratio to the Cubs 7-5. Like, this is just a shitty, maybe historically awful team. I mean, it is historically awful. It'll end up on a top 10 list of the worst teams that have ever played. We haven't lost to them, but we've got Crochet and Tyone going tomorrow, so I don't like that. And then we've got Steele versus Flexen, so at least we're throwing Steele at it. But
see, I'm kind of glad that the losing streak isn't still going, because there should be no pressure on this game, right? Getting them over, like beating them both of those games in order to like be the Cubs beating the Sox to break the loss streak would have brought some manufactured stupid pressure for no reason. And if they didn't do it, like if they made it to Friday and they didn't break it and the Sox beat them, that would be the Sox like World Series, and it would just be insufferable to hear it. So I'm kind of glad that that's just out the door. We don't have to talk about it during this series. Cubs can just go in there and beat them twice and move on. Or if they lose one, which I hope they don't do, like at least it won't be the game that saved the Sox from breaking the worst record.
yeah. I would have been tempted to go down there. I can't. I'm going to go see Hedwig and the Angry Inch tomorrow night, which I love that show. I haven't seen it for a long time. We were in it back in Philadelphia in the mid 2000s, but now I'm going to go see my friend perform in it. But
I wanted to see it when Doogie Howser was playing the lead, but I kind of missed out on that boat. So.
You weren't on the show when we talked about I don't think know the weird Doogie Howser information.
that was my first crush was Doogie Howser.
Well,
my first celebrity crush, Doogie Howser. My second was Donatello, the Ninja Turtle that wears a purple eye cover thing, and neither of those worked out for very different reasons.
Well, Doogie Howser had his day when he was a little straighter than he ended up being, or at least he had sex with women. In fact, sometimes the same woman I was having sex with.
Your girlfriend.
Exactly. Me and Doogie are Eskimo brothers.
Eskimo brothers, yes.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that for you, honestly.
Yeah, the girl I was kind of dating cheated on me with Doogie. Back in one of those kind of situations where everybody was sleeping with everybody.
Yep.
We were all in our 20s. Yeah.
You were kind of dating her. She was not dating you.
Yeah. No, she was dating me. She was just dating other people.
She wasn't dating him so much that Doogie Howser was a no.
Yeah, right. Exactly. and I, to be fair, I was not dating her so much that other people were no's too. So, it was one of those kind of situations. It ended up fine, but it ended up with Neil and me at Charlie Flynn's bar, and he'd be like, "Dude, I'm really sorry. It just happened." Like we had that I had that conversation one time with Neil Patrick Harris at a bar in the middle of Boston. Yes. So anyhow, on that note, I did see Cubstradamus when he
I hate that guy.
But back in the day, he played a pretty mean Hedwig. He was pretty good up there. His voice was a little higher at the time, so he could hit the higher notes.
The big thing that he had going for him was an angry inch.
Yeah, he actually was typecast. Anyway, he sent in a video this week about what's happening next. Here he is.
On Sunday, the Cubbies are leaving after the Sox are done sweeping. Though they won in 16, this year's Cubbies team flies off to get swept out in Cleveland. Tim Walsh, 2020 Hall.
Did he just say Tim Walsh?
Yeah, I think he's going for Tim Walsh now. Does he know that he's running with Kamala? That if he's got to vote for one, I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows.
I don't either. I think
he just wants free tampons.
Yeah, I don't even want to know what's going on under that fez. I feel like there's something in there that is not good. He's got like that RFK brainworm in there.
Did you see that? What's his name? Who's Joe Rogan? He endorsed brainworm over Trump. My God, of course.
What would be amazing is if he said, "I endorse brainworm." I mean, Robert freaking Kennedy. Wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Freaking. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, we're doing the Cubsler. We're finally giving away this Cubsler.
Finally.
Yeah, it's been weeks.
So sorry about that, people. When I'm dead, nobody can run this thing. There is a bottleneck in the Cubsler production line. But this is the Cubsler that we are talking about. Cubs bullpen fireman and closer honored by Polish American Police Association. Dusty killed arms, but Baylor and Kim used this guy 95.2 innings in one season. And so if you're looking at these, I mean, the Cubs bullpen fireman and closer honored, like, first off, they need to bring back the idea of a fireman in the bullpen. I love that idea. Like a fireman is what they called the guy that they would bring in all the worst situations. Like bases loaded, the guy that comes in is the fireman. And this guy did that. And, You should have, got on the right track with Polish American Police Association. The dude's last name is Polish. And then Dusty Baker, Don Baylor, and Kim, like they put you in this time frame. But literally, Joe Borowski pitched 95.2 innings in 2002.
Amazing.
That is, out of the bullpen, that is insane. It is no surprise that his arm fell off later. Like, he ended his Cubs run on the in Illinois. He was struggling.
Well, here we go. We got some winners who all got the correct answer.
I'm the late entry, but I don't need to win. It's a fine.
Were you in it? Because
I wasn't. I literally just put my answer in the chat because I didn't hear it last time.
There you go. All right.
We have a secret chat on the side where we talk about all of you.
Yeah. So we've got John Pincus, Artie Boucher, Jeff Bjorn, Mike Waller, Clint Nathan, Doug Gross. Doug Gross is a new name. I don't think I've seen that one before. IFG and Jared Pat all had correct answers to this. So let's spin this wheel, Danny, and see who someday in the near future gets my voice as a voicemail for them.
Here we go.
Big money, no whammies, no whammies.
The winner is Clint. Clint's here tonight.
Clint,
woo! All right, so we're gonna get a Nint Clayton going on.
Nint Clayton.
Someday.
Nint Clayton.
So do you have one for this week?
I do. I am prepared. And here we go. A Sesame Street somebody. Old Pete, not a politician. Phillies traded him for pickles. World War in 18 instead of World Series. So that is your clue to this week's Cubsler. A Sesame Street somebody. Old Pete, not a politician. Phillies traded him for pickles. World War in 18 instead of World Series.
This is an old one, probably.
Yeah. So that's all the look. The clues tell you the answers. Okay, it's not necessarily knowing everything in the world about the Cubs. So,
okay. So send your correct answers to sunranto@gmail.com and your incorrect answers.
Yeah. And put, if you can, put Cubsler 25 in the subject line. When I search to find all the right answers, I search by the first name, the last name, and also by Cubsler to try and make sure I don't miss people. Because when you spell things incorrectly a lot, sometimes people get lost in that shuffle.
So a couple of announcements real quick. Happy birthday to Little Yumper, Tom Garcia. And
hey, happy birthday, Yumper. Oh, did you guys, I don't know if you guys listened, but I was on their show.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it yet.
At the show podcast a couple weeks ago.
If you could tweet that out so that we can all find it. And what's the name of the show? It's called At the Show, right?
It's called At the Show. It is on the Psycho Penguins or something. God damn it. I forget what their Sadistic Penguins is their like overall company. But yeah, but it's At the Show. So they talk movies. And cool. Yumper is very knowledgeable and watches a ton of movies. But yeah, he and his buddy, and they're kind of part of that 108 crew down on the south side.
Oh, I love the 108, the Section 108 people who go and watch games at Section 108 at Comiskey. That's a lot of fun. I went and watched a game at Section 108 with the guys once, and that was awesome. Everett Toster, he's like, I feel like I could have gotten this one. I love Polish names and sausage, and I will tell you, I got this Cubsler while he was reading off the Cubsler during this show. I Googled Cubs Polish closer.
Yeah, and there it was. Yeah,
I got the answer. None of these are that deep. If you want to play, pick out a few words that stand out to you and Google them. You will find the answer, and then you can be into the prize.
These answers are there. You can find them. You just have to.
The answers are there. I'm already going, okay, Seeger pickles, something, and I'm getting some like politicians from the UK. So I feel like we're getting some false positives.
Oh,
but I'll get there. I'll get there.
Everett Tosher says the Blues Brothers movie anniversary was yesterday, which is interesting.
My
love
favorite
the Blues
car
Brothers.
I've ever had was in the Blues Brothers movie.
Your favorite car?
Yes, I had an 88 Crown Victoria. That was all the cop cars back
Oh, yeah.
when they were making
right.
those movies. They crashed like 57 of them during the filming of the movie.
No,
But I swam that car out of downtown Tampa during a tropical storm once. I loved that car.
Nice. Yeah, my family loves that movie, and we went to Chicago one time. We drove around to all the different places, went to the bridge where they run the Illinois Nazis into the water, all that stuff.
Yes.
So on September 20th, we're going to go hang out for Dan Nielsen's birthday. If you don't know who Dan was, he was our friend and a ranter and was a big part of our community. And his parents are coming into town from Iowa, right? I believe they live in Iowa. And they're
Yeah, they live on the west side of Iowa, so it's like a 6-hour drive for them.
So there's a Facebook event. I don't know really where else to put it. So we're going to go to the Friday day game on September 20th with his parents. We're going to get some group tickets. Join in on that. I'm kind of waiting for people to join before I do the group tickets. And I'll if you want to come, contact me, sonranto@gmail.com, and we can figure out tickets for that. And I am singing the anthem in South Bend on Saturday. So if you're anywhere in the area, I know the Wrigleyville Bum Joe is going to be over there. And so if you want to come out, hear me sing the anthem, that's the night I'm going to be doing August 10th. So been practicing in the cemetery. So hey, it's the only place I can get away. You know, there's nobody in there. Everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
If I go in there, I can open up and sing as loud as I want without, having neighbors complain.
And anybody who comes in there and you're singing the national anthem, they're just like, they probably like stop and they have like a real moment. They're like, oh, somebody's in here and they're singing the national anthem for the soldiers and all this stuff. And you have probably caused tears in that cemetery.
Yeah, I certainly caused tears myself when I try to hit that high F. So, all right, I've got a couple of TFCs.
I have
Orange
one.
whip? Orange whip?
What's that a
3
reference
orange
to?
whips?
3 orange whips.
Orange whips.
Is that a Blues Brothers reference?
It is. Yes.
I didn't remember that one.
Yeah. No, I have one.
Fried chickens and some dry toast, please. I've watched that movie entirely too many times.
I hear my
not
cat at the door. I got to go let her in a second, but I will share this. I got a TFG first. This guy was walking around Wrigley. This fucking guy. This was an old kind of meme I used to put out on Twitter. TFG. Look at this guy. This is from Mike Waller Seats on Sunday night. Walking around.
That is my people.
In a kilt,
I'm probably related to that dude.
Sandals. And that is one shirt. There's one hair shirt.
Yeah, he's wearing the Italian sweater
and a kilt, wearing a what is that? Is that actually a straw cap? Is that the straw cap that they gave away at the Cubs Wrigley Field 100-year anniversary?
No, I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is.
I have one of those. I can go drag it out if you need me to. But I thought for a second it might be. Sandals, a kilt, and literally just the hairiest back y'all ever seen.
Yeah, I was going to say the piece de resistance is the flip-flops. Like, you really should just not wear flip-flops to Wrigley Field in any situation.
I mean, if you're going to walk into that bathroom, at least be wearing flip-flops.
I will tell you, though, Emily found a black and yellow kilt at the thrift store not too long ago, and Corey Furlong will get to see me show up at his tailgate wearing my black and yellow kilt at one of these nice warm Hawkeye football Saturdays.
Get your hairy back on too. So I get the. Does anybody else have? I have another TFC. I have a TFC as well.
Yeah,
I
I've got a
a couple of
TFC.
things hiding out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start here with the most ridiculous positive attitude. Like, you're on Reddit, you're not expecting to see positive attitudes.
Never.
But here we are. The Cubs have a realistic chance of going on a run and making the playoffs. And this guy writes, Paredes has filled a huge hole in our lineup. First off, what?
Okay.
With everyone else getting healthy and hitting, our offense is looking legit. PCA and Amaya are looking more comfortable as well. Bullpen has been lights out for almost 2 months, and our starting rotation is awesome. We get Merriweather back, Bellinger back. If Casey or Ballesteros can make some noise, our lineup is stacked. The Cubs have the easiest schedule moving forward.
Hold on. Is he referring to Moises Ballesteros, the person who has never seen a major league game?
Yes, that's exactly what he's talking about.
Carry on.
That guy, yeah.
The Cubs have the easiest schedule moving forward. We play 15 more series. Only 4 are against teams above 500. Currently, the Braves and Mets are in the top wildcard spot at 7 games above 500. Realistically, we'd need to be about 10 games over 500 in order to win the wild card. The Braves and Mets will likely beat up on each other a little bit too. That is only the first part of that, and he went on and on to explain every series, all the things that had to happen. And I mean, the rest of that thread was everyone in Reddit going, wow, give me some of whatever you have, because nobody has that
Clearly.
positive an outlook on this team in the history of anyone.
Whatever they're on has to be illegal in all 50 states.
Yeah, probably not
Amazing.
even a
I'm
team.
very happy for them. I wish I had that level of delusion left in my system.
But I do think at some point in there, the original poster, the OP said, oh, it all depends on whether they sweep the Sox. If they don't sweep the White Sox, so the next 2 games, I think he said, if they don't sweep the White Sox, it's all over. I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, so in his universe, with the color of the sky of the universe that he lives in, if they do sweep the White Sox, for some reason they call up Owen Casey and Moises Ballesteros.
Yeah.
In the middle of this season, and then they go on a run that leads them to the playoffs.
And where is Owen Casey playing?
Yeah, where? Yeah, exactly. There's not even room for these guys on the roster. They're not even on the 40-man.
Yeah, it was just the most insane thing, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And I don't normally get to come with a bunch of
That's
positivity.
incredible. That is a beautiful delusion, and I wish I could live with it. The Missoula Paddleheads did free beer night.
Oh, nice.
Oh my
That
god,
was fun. So Missoula Paddleheads, they're a lot of fun. You had to pre-purchase your ticket, and you could turn it in for like 2 refills of your beer bat.
Oh, okay. So it's not all the beer you want.
No,
Just
it's
2
not.
refills
It's
of
not
your
all
beer
the
bat.
beer you can drink, but it is 2 free fills of your beer bat,
It's a lot of
Okay,
beer.
but
guaranteed. Plus,
the-
you get an additional free beer every inning until the opposing team scores.
Oh, so if they shut them out, that's
That's
an
a lot
extra,
of that's potentially 10 free beers.
That's 10 beer bats. That's a lot of beer. That
Yeah.
really is.
You
Now,
can get Pocket Cowboy, Strawberry Wheat, Budweiser, or Bud Light.
See, that's the thing that got me. The first beer they had there, the Pocket Cowboy.
Hey,
And I think now we have a Pocket Taco. We
Yep.
have a Pocket Cowboy in a beer bat, and we're having ourselves a weekend.
Now, I remember all the stories about like nickel beer night and dime beer night and how like these things have ended up in huge catastrophes at major league games. But this is not a major league game. This is the Missoula Paddleheads. And they ended up walking off the game at free beer night And I love that for them.
Nice.
That is my positive minor league story of the day.
And I'll
From
bet
Missoula Paddleheads.
I'll bet the tickets to the game plus how many ever beer bats they got cost less than one single beer bat at Wrigley Field.
I'm almost certain of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, Missoula's in Montana, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that, like population 500,000 or something?
I mean, I would have to drive several hours to get there.
I will look this up while you guys go to your next TFCs. Let's see.
So, I mean, what is
I have one more.
It's got to be DUI Central that night.
There's 14 people in Montana. They are not counting.
Yeah, I mean, you should be allowed to drive drunk in Montana, I think.
I think you can in Wisconsin, right?
Well,
didn't we all ride the bus to the Milwaukee ballpark with full beers in our hand?
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah.
Danny,
you can drive your tractor drunk at least in Missoula.
Missoula, Montana, population in 2024. Your guess was 500,000. You are much like Ron Santo trying to guess the attendance game.
Yeah.
It's 78,876.
It's like my apartment building. It's not even an act. I mean, that's not even a city. There's suburbs of Chicago that have twice as many people.
Yeah.
How many TFCs do you have left?
I have one.
You got one? Do you have anything else, Cotton?
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna jump in real fast. I love this one. James Medlock. Okay, so like me, y'all know we're gonna get a little political here. I'm a big leftist, and I was like, hey, I would really like to vote for the Democrats of our fair country, except that they are running a 70 bajillion-year-old old man who doesn't know what time of day it is. And I was really happy because then they, encouraged that dude to step down, and now we have somebody who is, more senile or less senile. And then they picked up a high school football coach who reminds me of my pop. And so that's pretty cool. And this guy, James Medlock, who is at JDC Medlock, he says Kamala Harris is like a high ceiling prospect that just never really puts the results together and then languished on the bench for years. But then an injury replacement puts them in the lineup and all of a sudden they're hitting 330 and you're wondering why they weren't playing them the whole time. That's so true, bestie. That is so true. Especially when their backup is my pop, who's just sitting there making dad jokes and saying, oh, get that girl a drink of water. We got to make sure everybody's safe here.
I've never seen it change so quickly.
Yeah. So that's amazing. He basically just called Kamala Lou Gehrig. And Wally Pip just
sorry, Wally Pip.
Not in the
love
lineup.
You, but bye.
So mine's also a little bit political because,
tis the season.
Our team, though, the Chicago Cubs, is owned by a very political family. So, you can't really separate.
Governor of Nebraska.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, governor of Nebraska is Pete Ricketts, owner of the Cubs. And he's been out there against Kamala Harris saying the Green New Deal is an extreme socialist wish list to ban gas vehicles, drastically restrict energy production, and provide government housing and health care to all.
How fucking dare.
Kamala Harris backs abolishing the filibuster to push her extreme agenda on Nebraskans.
All 12 of them.
I said to him, why do you want to pollute the earth, Pete? And Patrick is my homie says, Pete would pour bleach on a baby for $1.
He would pay somebody that $1 to pour the bleach on the baby for him because he's never done a day of manual labor in his life.
Yep. And then as soon as somebody called him on it, he'd be like, that baby had COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So I fed him a steak and poured bleach on him.
That's the one big thing that I've been thinking ever since this big changeover happened, and ever since Kamala named Coach Walls her running mate. I'm like, these are two people who have had jobs.
Yeah.
Like where they have worked by the hour.
Yeah, they understand.
They are already more qualified than any person who has run during my lifetime.
I forgot I had one more thing. It's not really a TFC, but it does automatic captioning on me and on me and Crawley, and this was the still shot that I found, which is just freaking brilliant. Like, I kind of want this on a T-shirt because it's Crawley just chugging a Bud Light with his hairy leg in the frame, and then it's me looking at the game.
Oh, that's his leg. I just thought that was like some partially bald guy sitting in front of you guys.
We're in the first row, and then but the caption is, aren't they all kind of emergency swings?
Wait a second. If you're in the first row, who's taking this picture? You got a drone?
No, we called the game. We called the game facing us. So it's we went on StreamYard. It was my phone facing.
Oh, so your phone
faces.
was sitting on the fence.
Yeah, because the last time we called the game, we had it faced towards the game, and all our streams got shut down because we were showing the game.
Yeah. Okay.
So this time we just showed us, and we didn't get shut down because we're not illegal to show yet. But we are. So, okay. Well, that is the show, I guess. I'm going to go over to Discord to hang out.
We have to chance it.
Oh, yeah. We always forget the chance. This is your last chance to get your chance. Vote in #chance in the chat. That's how you do it.
Thanks, Tom. Tom just said great broadcast. I really do appreciate that because
it's hard to tell.
This has been fun. I don't know if it's been great, but it's been fun.
So, yeah, put your chance in, and you can win a Frank Chance postcard. I'm going to draw it right now.
There it goes. Look at all those names. They're spinning. They're going around.
Let's go.
Who's going to win? Somebody new.
Chris
Salato.
Well, actually, it's Chris Salato's cat because
Yes.
the cat is in the picture.
The chance does need to go to the cat, and you should write the chance card accordingly.
I'm going to write the chance to the cat.
But yeah, no, it's great to see Chris winning.
The cat's alive, and it's not in the, sometimes people put, the dead relative.
Hopefully it's
or
not
the
a
cat.
Rainbow Bridge kitty.
Yeah.
But you can write a letter to a Rainbow Bridge kitty, and they will receive the message. I believe that.
But I don't want to write it to a Rainbow Bridge message to a cat that's still alive. It's bad luck.
So true. Hey, Chris Salato, let us know the status of your beloved
Is
kitty.
your cat alive?
His status right now is I say fart because I'm drunk and my trivia team name was Mouthful of Quiz.
That's amazing. What was my team name this week? It was.
I'm just gonna write fart on the card and send it through the mail. Hopefully the mailman will see it.
Oh, I remember what we were. We were Anthony Amirati's hidden pole trick this week.
Nice. Hidden
No
pole
idea who
trick.
that is. Oh, I do know who it is.
Yes, do know who that is. Yes,
dawned on me who that
this
might
got
be.
raucous laughter from 3 people at the pizza bar who know who Anthony Amirati is and why his hidden pole trick was notable. I heard that he was offered like $250,000 from an as yet unnamed adult entertainment streaming provider. I don't know whether or not he has accepted that offer.
Everybody watching right now is like, how do you spell
Googling
Emirati? As I'm trying to Google this.
If you are listening to this and you haven't heard, there was a gentleman who was participating in the Summer Olympics in Paris, who is a pole vaulter, and he was denied his opportunity to medal because his pocket
pole
taco appendage hit the bar.
Oh yeah.
And he thus did not clear.
What if he came?
I don't know exactly. I don't know how to describe what happened, but I can say the TikTok video showing it go on for at least 20 minutes.
What if he comes down and he's just like, "Oh no, I forgot to take my pepperoni out of there.
Oh.
I was going to have it for a snack, and I just totally forgot." And he pulls out a big pepperoni sausage. And he sounds like Mario. Somehow he speaks English. So, yeah.
Chris Salato just saying it in words,
Yeah.
His dick was too big and it hit the bar. Good for him. Good for him.
How do you win and lose at the same time?
I did that exactly like that. So, well, we're losing to the Twins, my man, but we only lost once, and that's the show. Thanks to the Fans First Network who puts this show out, and Bleacher Bunch Productions and all the great shows on there, and our 109 Patreon supporters. You should be one if you're not. Especially Blake Beard and his magical tickets, Rogue Wave Creative, Mike Waller, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, and our Patreon prize sponsors, Matt Cameron's Permanent Paintings, and In the Clutch shirts. You guys are the best. Find us all the places you find things. And yeah, that's it. That's
hit the bell. Send me money. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hit the Discord.
The QR codes, Venmo at Danny-Rocket with 2 T's, PayPal, sunranto@gmail.com. All the money is going to Japan. Thank you to our guy who donated to this, Kenneth Wu. One more time, big up to Kenneth. What's the frequency, Kenneth?
I was literally just thinking, what's the frequency, Kenneth?
The frequency is $50. And hey, that brings us at least, we're like 5% of the way to IFG's ticket to Japan, because yours is the cheapest ticket. I say we get that one first.
Yeah, I can get a direct flight to Tokyo. It just costs like $1,000.
Yeah, well, for us it's like
I gotta renew my passport too. I haven't done that in like 17 years.
Better do that. Yeah. So I guess on that note, Spagog, I'll see all those Super Ranchers over in the Discord, and I don't know what song to play. I only have one up, so that's what's happening.
That's what's happening. Which one is it?
Ballad of John Baker. That's what you're listening to going out the door.
Cool.
Spagog! Spagog!
Baseball fan I've seen, but I sort of missed it ever